Have you ever had that conversation with your children? The one where they sit you down, their faces full of love and concern, and they gently suggest that maybe, just maybe, it's time to start looking at other living arrangements? They might use words like community, support, or safety. But you and I, we know what they're really talking about. A nursing home. At 85, I've had that talk. And my answer was a firm, respectful, but unwavering no. I will never go into a nursing home. Now, before you think this is just the stubbornness of an old man, let me tell you, this decision didn't come from a place of fear or defiance. It came from a place of deep thought, of knowing what truly matters in these later chapters of life. It's about protecting something far more important than just my physical comfort. It's about protecting my spirit. And I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. So many of us carry these same quiet reasons in our hearts, but we don't always say them out loud. Well, today, I'm saying them. I want to share with you the 5 reasons behind my choice, in the hope that it might give voice to your own feelings or help you understand a loved one's perspective. This isn't about judging those who have chosen differently. Every journey is unique, and some find genuine peace and care in those facilities. But for me, and perhaps for you, the idea of leaving the life I've built is about more than just changing an address. It's about holding on to the very essence of who I am. So let's just talk, you and I, about what's really at stake. Let's start with the first reason, which is perhaps the most immediate one that comes to mind: the loss of personal privacy. You know, at this age, we've earned our quiet moments. We've earned the right to solitude, to think our own thoughts without an audience. Privacy isn't just a luxury, it's the foundation of our dignity. It's that feeling of ownership over your own space and your own time. In a nursing home, no matter how wonderful it might be, that privacy is the first thing to go. There are schedules for everything: when to eat, when to bathe, when to sleep. There are well-meaning staff members who need to check on you, often entering your room without much warning. You might have a roommate, which means your private conversations, the simple act of watching what you want on television, or even just sitting in silence becomes a negotiated event. I think of my friend Margaret. She's 86. After her husband passed, she lived alone for 20 years and cherished her independence. She loved her quiet evenings, just reading or looking out at her garden. Then she had a bad fall, and her family, out of genuine love and concern, moved her into a care facility. When I visited her, she seemed smaller somehow. She told me, "It feels like I'm living in a fishbowl. Someone is always watching. I can't even have a good cry without someone asking me what's wrong." She said the constant oversight made her feel like a child again, having to ask permission for the simplest things. That sense of being constantly managed, of never truly being alone with your own thoughts, can be emotionally draining. It chips away at your sense of self, piece by piece. In my own home, I have the sacred freedom to open my door to the world or to close it and be with myself. That is a freedom I am not willing to surrender. And that deep connection to my own space leads me directly to the second reason, which is the irreplaceable comfort of home and a lifetime of memories. A house is not just wood and plaster and paint, it's a living museum of your life. Every scratch on the floor tells a story. That faded spot on the wall is where the sun hits your favorite photograph every afternoon. The kitchen still seems to hold the laughter from decades of family dinners. This isn't just sentimental talk, this is the very fabric of our identity. To leave this behind is to tear away a part of yourself. There's a profound peace that comes from waking up in the same room, seeing the same view out your window that you've seen for 40 years. It's a stability that feeds the soul. Think about Eleanor, a wonderful woman I've known for years. She's 83 and still lives in the home where she raised her 3 children. She once told me that every corner of that house is a conversation with her past. The hallway where she marked her children's heights on the doorframe, the backyard where her husband proposed to her under an old oak tree. She said, "If I left, I'd feel like I was abandoning my own history. These memories can't be packed into a suitcase. A nursing home can provide a room, but it can never provide that deep emotional resonance. It can't replicate the feeling of being truly, completely at home. It's the difference between living in a building and living inside a story. Your story. And that story is what grounds us, especially when so much else in the world feels like it's changing. Now, these feelings about privacy and home are powerful, but they lead us to a more practical and, for many of us, a more worrying concern, which is a deep-seated distrust of institutional care. We've all heard the stories, haven't we? We've seen the news reports about neglect, about patients who are treated like tasks on a checklist rather than people with rich, full lives. Now, I want to be fair. I know there are many dedicated, compassionate people working in these homes, but the system itself is often designed for efficiency, not for individuality. The structure often can't help but put routines ahead of personal preferences. Meals are at set times, baths are on a schedule. There's a rotation of staff, so you rarely get to build a deep, familial relationship with your caregivers. When you're one of many residents, there's a fear that your specific wants, the little things that make you, will get lost. I remember a gentleman named Harold. He was always an early riser who loved to have his coffee and read the paper in complete silence for an hour before anyone else was awake. It was his ritual, his way of centering himself for the day. In the nursing home, breakfast was at 8 a.m. sharp, and the common area was often noisy. His precious morning ritual became impossible. It seems like a small thing, but it was a huge loss for him. It was the loss of control over his own day. That fear of becoming a number, of having your routines and preferences overlooked for the sake of the institution's routine, is a very real one. It's not just about receiving care, it's about how that care is delivered. It's about being heard, being seen, and being respected as an individual, not just a patient. And for many of us, that's a risk we're not willing to take. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's all well and good, but what if I need help? What if I can't do everything on my own anymore? And that is the perfect question to ask, because it brings us to the heart of a better solution and the next reason for my choice. If you're listening to this and it resonates with you, please let me know you're here by commenting number 2 below. It helps me know I'm talking to friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do and hit that bell so you don't miss our next conversations. Your support means the world and helps keep this community going. Now, let's continue.
And that better solution, the one that answers the question of how we manage as we need more help, is my 4th reason, the incredible value of family and community support. You see, I believe with all my heart that the best care doesn't come from an institution, it comes from a web of relationships. It comes from the people who know you, who love you, and who see you as a whole person, not a patient file. This isn't about being a burden. That's a word we fear, isn't it? We don't want to impose. But think about it differently. Think about reciprocity. Think about the natural, beautiful flow of support that has always existed between generations. When your daughter stops by with groceries, it's not just a chore. It's a visit. It's a chance for her to tell you about her day and for you to share a story from your past. When a grandson comes over to help mow the lawn, you can reward him with your famous apple pie and a piece of wisdom he might not hear anywhere else. These aren't transactions, they are connections. They are the threads that weave a safety net, far stronger than any institutional protocol. This kind of support gives us something a nursing home never can, a profound sense of purpose. It reminds us that we are still needed, that our presence still matters in the lives of others. We are not just being cared for, we are still actively participating in the circle of family and community. I have a friend, Patricia, who is 84. She lives alone, but she is far from lonely. Her daughter handles the bigger shopping trips, and a wonderful young neighbor from down the street helps with small repairs and taking the trash out. In return, Patricia is the neighborhood historian and confidant. She bakes cookies for the children after school, and she's always there with a cup of tea and a listening ear for anyone having a tough day. She told me I may need a little help with my body, but I can still feed their souls. She feels valued, not burdensome. She is giving and receiving, and that balance is everything. And community extends beyond our front porch. Local senior centers, churches, synagogues, and community groups offer incredible resources: meal delivery, transportation services, social clubs, and exercise classes specifically designed for us. Tapping into these resources allows us to stay independent and connected. It keeps us socially engaged, which is just as vital for our health as any medicine. It's about creating a team, a personal support system built on mutual respect and genuine relationship rather than relying on a system built on shifts and schedules. This network of people, this village, is what allows so many of us to say with confidence that we can thrive right here in the place we love. Now, this leads us to the fifth and final reason, the one that ties all the others together. It's the most personal one, and it's about a conscious commitment, a commitment to self-care and to a lifestyle that fiercely protects our independence. This is the active part of the choice. It's not just about refusing something, it's about actively choosing to do the work to make staying at home possible. This means being honest with ourselves about our limitations, but also fiercely believing in our capabilities. It's about the small, daily disciplines that add up to a huge difference. It's choosing to do those gentle stretches every morning, even when we'd rather stay in bed. It's making the effort to prepare a nutritious meal for ourselves, even if it's simple, instead of just reaching for something easy. It's using that walking frame or cane proudly around the house to prevent a fall, because that fall is what could land us in the very situation we want to avoid. This commitment is about taking ownership of our health and our daily routines for as long as we possibly can. I think of my neighbor James. He's 87 and has arthritis that bothers him every day. But you know what? Every morning, rain or shine, he walks to the end of his driveway and back. It's not a marathon, but it's his ritual. He told me, "This walk is my declaration of independence. It's me telling the world and reminding myself that I'm still in the game." He also uses a medication dispenser to keep himself organized and has a medical alert button for peace of mind. These aren't signs of weakness. They are brilliant tools of empowerment. They are practical choices that extend his ability to live on his own terms. This commitment is also about keeping our minds active and engaged. It's reading, doing puzzles, gardening, puttering in the workshop, or even learning something new online. It's about having a reason to get out of bed in the morning that isn't just because a breakfast bell is ringing. This active engagement with life, this commitment to caring for our own body and mind, is the strongest shield we have against losing our independence. It's how we prove to ourselves and to our worried families that we are not just safe here at home, we are truly living here. So there they are, the 5 reasons that anchor my decision. The fear of losing my privacy, the deep comfort of my home and memories, a distrust of institutional care, a belief in the power of family and community, and my personal commitment to self-care. When you put them all together, they form a powerful picture. It's not a picture of fear or stubbornness. It's a picture of a life valued. It's about dignity, autonomy, and the quiet joy of living amidst the evidence of a life well lived. If this conversation has struck a chord with you, I would be so honored if you would share your own thoughts in the comments below. Let me know which reason resonates most deeply with you. And if you're finding value in this, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. It truly helps us reach other folks like you and me, and it allows us to keep this important conversation going. Thank you for listening, truly. Now let's wrap this up with a final few thoughts.
You know, as I've been talking, I've been thinking about my friend Arthur. We lost him last year, just shy of 90. He was a proud, independent man, a carpenter who built his own home with his own 2 hands. right up until his final months, he was in that house. It wasn't always easy. His family helped, his neighbors checked in, and he had a wonderful aide who came a few hours a day. But he was home. And when I visited him there, surrounded by his handcrafted furniture and the walls that held his family's laughter, he was still Arthur. He was in charge. He had dignity. That's what this is all about. It's not about rejecting help. It's about choosing how we receive that help in a way that lets us hold on to ourselves. And that choice is empowered by being practical. It's about looking ahead and putting smart, simple systems in place now that protect our independence later. This is the part where we move from philosophy to action. For me, that meant having a serious talk with my family. We sat down, not in a crisis, but on a calm Sunday afternoon, and we made a plan. We discussed what I would do if I had a fall, who I would call first, what medications I take, and where my important documents are. Just having that plan written down gave all of us tremendous peace of mind. It showed them I was being responsible, and it showed me that I still had control over the process. Then, I took a good hard look around my house. I'm not as steady on my feet as I used to be, so I made some changes. I got rid of that wobbly little rug I always meant to fix, and finally installed those grab bars in the shower. They're not ugly anymore. You can get nice-looking ones. I made sure my pathways were clear and my most used things were within easy reach. These aren't concessions to aging. They are brilliant tools for freedom. They're what allow me to navigate my own home safely on my own terms for longer. It's about being clever, not just being stubborn. And technology. My goodness, what a gift it can be. I have a medical alert system. I don't wear it as a badge of weakness. I wear it as a badge of independence. It's my guardian angel. It means I can putter in my garden or take a bath without that nagging fear in the back of my mind. It means if I did have a problem, I could get help immediately without my family having to worry every time the phone rings. There are also wonderful pill dispensers that beep when it's time for medication, and video call devices that let me see my great-grandchildren anytime I want to. Using these tools isn't giving up, it's gearing up. It's assembling the toolkit that lets me win at living on my own. But the most important tool, the absolute cornerstone of all of this, is connection. I make it a point to reach out. I call a friend every day. I wave to my neighbor. I say yes to invitations, even when I feel a little tired. Because building that web of connection is what builds my safety net. People can't help you if they don't know you need it. And more importantly, they want to help. Letting them is not a burden. It's an invitation into a relationship. It's giving them the gift of feeling useful and needed, just as they give me the gift of their support. So as we come to the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with this. Choosing to age at home on your own terms is not a solitary or selfish act. It is a proactive, powerful decision to champion your own dignity. It's about building a moat around your independence with the tools of planning, practicality, and most of all, people. It's about saying, my story isn't over yet, and I will be the one to write the final chapters. Your reasons are your own, but I hope sharing mine has given you some comfort, some courage, and perhaps a few ideas. This is your life. You have fought for it, you have loved through it, and you have earned the right to live it in the way that feels most true to you. If this message resonated with you, I would be so grateful if you would share your own story or thoughts in the comments below. Your wisdom is valuable, and it could be the very thing that gives another person the courage to make their own plan. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and tap that bell.
It helps us build this community of support and share more conversations like this one. Thank you for listening, for your time, and for your beautiful, independent spirit. Remember, no matter your age, you are the author of your life. Make it a great read. Stay blessed and take care of yourselves out there.